everyone, welcome to our presentation on stem cell therapy. Today we're going to explore what stem cells are and how they can make a difference in the field of medicine. Before we begin, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Zachary Flavia Pauline Añasco, together with my group mates Miss Daphne Edralin, Mr. Elime Edisarip, Miss Jaya Rose Salvador, and we are the Group 4. So here is a table of contents. So this discussion will going to talk about definition, types and uses of stem cell, importance, donating and harvesting of stem cells, and issues and concerns of the stem cell therapy. What are stem cells? So as you read the slide, stem cells are very special cells that have the amazing ability to develop into different types of cells in our body. They are like building blocks of our body because they can give rise to all other cells with specialized functions. Let's imagine that a stem cell is like a superhero cell that can transform into many different types of cells. These superhero stem cells are found in the inner cell mass of a blastocyst, which is a very early stage of development in embryos. Now, these superhero stem cells have the power to become any tissue in our body, so they can transform into neurons, which are the cells that help us think and feel. They can become chondrocytes, which are the cells that make up our cartilage and help us move without pain. They can become enterocytes, which are the cells that line our intestines and help us digest food. But it doesn't stop there. Stem cells can also turn into red blood cells, which carry oxygen to every part of our body. They can become muscle cells, which allow us to move and be active. They can transform into the fat cells that store energy, or epithelial cells, which are the cells that make up our skin and protect us from the outside world. When a stem cell divides, it can create two different cells. One cell can stay as a stem cell, ready to become anything it needs to be. The other cell has the potential to become a specialized cell with a specific job, such as a muscle cell, red blood cell, or even a brain cell. So, in simple words, no, stem cells are like the superheroes of our body. They have the power to become any type of cell, and when they divide, they can create more cells that help our body function and grow. They are incredibly important for our development and have the potential to revolutionize medicine and help treat various diseases in the future. So to know more about stem cells are the cells that play an important role in our bodies. They have some amazing characteristics that make them special. First of all, stem cells have the unique ability to replace damaged or lost cells in our body. When our cells get damaged due to injuries or diseases, stem cells can step in and take their place, helping our body heal and regenerate. Stem cells are present in both embryonic organism and adult organisms. So, first, embryonic organisms. So, these are organisms in the early stages of development. So, in embryos, stem cells are found in a special part called in the inner cell mass of the blastocyst. These embryonic stem cells have the incredible potential to develop into any type of cell in the body. They are like blank canvas, like ready to become whatever the body needs. So, on the other hand, in adult organisms, stem cells are localized to specific areas within the body. For example, they can be found in the bone marrow. So, what is bone marrow? So, it is the soft tissue inside our bones, or in the gonads, which are the reproductive organs. These adult stem cells have a more limited range of what they can become compared to embryonic stem cells. But they are still very important for maintaining and repairing our body tissues and organs. So, stem cells provide a continuous supply of new cells that make up our tissues and organs. They divide and create more cells, which can then specialize and take us on specific functions. These ongoing processes ensures that our body always has a fresh supply of cells to replace old or damaged ones. Because of their unique properties, stem cells have been a great interest to scientists and researchers as a potential therapeutic method for various diseases and conditions. They hold great promise for regenerative medicine, where they can be used to repair or replace damaged tissues and organs. So to fully understand, no, Stem cells replace damaged cells. They exist in both embryos and adults, and they can continuously provide new cells for our tissues and organs. They have the potential to revolutionize medicine and help treat a wide range of diseases and conditions. And now let's proceed to stem cell characteristics and properties. Stem cells have some specific characteristics or properties that make them unique and important in our bodies. So let's break them down into simple terms. So, unspecialized or undifferentiated. Stem cells are like blank cells that haven't yet decided what they want to become. They are not specialized or differentiated into specific cell types. Yet, they have the potential to develop into different types of cells in our body. Proliferation and renewal. So, stem cells have the amazing ability to divide and renew themselves for a long period of time. They can keep dividing and producing more stem cells, ensuring a continuous supply of these special cells in our bodies. Differentiation. Stem cells have this potential to give rise to specialized cells that make up different tissues in our body. They can transform into specific cell types like muscle cells, nerve cells, or blood cells. So these cells can either be pluripotent or multipotent. So if we say pluripotent stem cells, they are like embryonic stem cells. They have the ability to become almost any type of cell in the body. They are like blank slate and can develop into a wide range of specialized cells. So on the other hand, multipotent stem cells are like adult stem cells. They have more limited range of what they can become. So stem cells are special stem cells that haven't chosen their path yet. They can divide and renew themselves for a long time. They have the power to become different types of specialized cells. So some stem cells can become almost any cell type, while others have more limited range. These properties make stem cells incredibly important for our body's growth, repair, and regeneration. And now let's proceed with the different types of stem cells. So first we have totiponent cells. These are super versatile cells that can become any type of cell in the body, including cells from all three germ layers, like mesoderm, endoderm, and ectoderm. They can give rise to placental cells. Totiponent cells are found in the early embryos, typically within 1 to 3 days after fertilization. Second, we have pluripotent cells. These cells are also very versatile and can differentiate into many different cell types. They have the ability to become cells from all three germ layers, except for the placental cells. Pluripotent cells are present in the inner cell mass of the blastocyst, which is a stage of development that occurs around 5 to 14 days after fertilization. Third, we have multipotent cells. These cells have the ability to differentiate into a limited number of cell types, usually within one germ layer. They are more specialized compared to totipotent and pluripotent cells. Fourth, we have unipotent cells. These cells have a more limited capacity and can only produce cells of their own type. They are more restricted in their potential compared to the other type of stem cells. So an example of unipotent stem cells can be found in the testes, where spermatogonia, a type of stem cells, can give rise only to sperm cells. So to fully understand, totipotent cells can become any cell type in the body. Pluripotent cells can become many different cell types except placental cells. Multipotent cells can differentiate into a limited number of cell types with a specific germ layer. And lastly, unipotent cells can only produce of their own cell type. So each type of stem cells have different abilities and potentials in terms of cell differentiation.
All of us are curious if what is a stem cell therapy, right? Stem cell therapy, also known as regenerative medicine, promotes the repair response of diseased, dysfunctional, or injured tissue using stem cells or their derivatives. It is the next chapter in organ transplantation and uses cells instead of donor organs, which it supply. A stem cell therapy right refers to the legal and ethical considerations surrounding the use of stem cells in medical treatments and research. Stem cell therapy has shown great promise in treating various diseases and conditions, but it also raises complex issues related to informed consent, patient privacy, intellectual property, and funding. Ensuring the patients have access to safe and effective stem cell therapies while balancing the interests of researchers, clinicians, and the general public is crucial. What are the uses of stem cells? So, these are the uses of stem cells. First is the tissue regeneration. Tissue regeneration is probably the most important use of stem cells. Until now, a person who needed a new kidney, for example, had to wait for a donor and then undergo a transplant. There is a shortage of donor organs, but by instructing stem cells to differentiate in a certain way, scientists could use them to grow a specific tissue type organ. Next is a cardiovascular disease treatment. In 2013, a team of researchers from Massachusetts General Hospital reported in PNAS early edition that they had created blood vessels in laboratory mice using human stem cells. Within 2 weeks of implanting the stem cells, networks of blood perfused vessels had performed. The quality of these new blood vessels was as good as the nearby natural ones. The author hoped that this type of technique could eventually help to treat people with cardiovascular and vascular disease. And for the brain disease treatment, doctors may one day be able to use replacement cells and tissues to treat brain disease, such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. Researchers have already tried differentiating embryonic stem cells into these types of cells, so treatments are promising. And lastly is the blood disease treatment. Doctors now routinely use adult hematopoietic stem cells to treat diseases such as leukemia, sickle cell anemia, and other immunodeficiency problems. Hematopoietic stem cells occur in blood and bone marrow and can produce all blood cell types, including red blood cells that carry oxygen and white blood cells that fight disease. What are the importance of stem cells? Number 1 is stem cells can replace diseased or damaged cells. Stem cells have the unique ability to differentiate into various cell types and replace damaged or diseased cells in the body. This makes them valuable for treating a wide range of conditions and diseases such as cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and neurodegenerative disorders. Stem cell therapy involves introducing new, healthy stem cells into the body to replace those that are affected by injury or disease. Number 2 is stem cells allow us to study development and genetics. Stem cells play a vital role in developmental biology research as they allow scientists to study the processes of cell differentiation, growth, and organ formation. By examining how stem cells develop into specialized cell types, researchers can gain insights into the genetic and molecular mechanisms that underlie developmental processes. This knowledge can help us understand the cause of birth defects and guide the development of targeted therapies for various genetic disorders. And number 3 is stem cells can be used to test different substances such as drugs and chemicals. Researchers can use stem cells to test the effects of various substances such as drugs and chemicals on human cellular function and development. This allows for a better understanding of the potential risks and benefits associated with exposure to these substances. By testing the effects of drugs and chemicals on stem cells, scientists can gather valuable data on their safety and efficacy before moving on to animal testing or clinical trials. This helps in reducing the time and cost required for drug development and improves the overall safety of pharmaceutical products.
Planarians are flatworms that are capable of profound regenerative feats dependent upon a population of self-renewing adult stem cells called neoblast. Regeneration in planarians offer a paradigm for understanding the molecular and cellular control of the repair and regeneration of animal tissues, and could provide valuable insights for the safe use of stem cells to repair damaged, diseased, and aging human tissues with little or no regenerative capacities. The goal of stem cell research to know the fundamental stem cell concepts of regeneration using planaria as a model of organism. Where do stem cells naturally come from? Stem cells originate from two main sources: adult body tissues and embryos. Scientists are also working on ways to develop stem cells from other cells using genetic reprogramming techniques. Adult stem cells are undifferentiated cells found all through the body after improvement that increases by cell division to renew dying cells and recover harmed tissues. Embryo stem cells are cells derived from inner cell mass of the blastocyst prior to implantation. They are pluripotent and have an unlimited capacity for self-renewal and the ability to differentiate into any somatic cell type. Donating or harvesting stem cells. Frozen embryos. To be used for stem cell research are thawed and cells from the pluripotent inner cell mass is removed and grown in a petri dish in a research laboratory. Under right conditions, these embryonic stem cells can self-renew indefinitely. Therapeutic cloning is a technique used to create stem cells that are genetic match to a donor. It has been used to clone non-human animals, the most famous being the sheep Dolly. Therapeutic cloning has been negatively associated with the idea of human reproductive cloning, but the majority of scientists do not support the reproductive uses of this procedure in humans. Bone marrow. These cells are taken under a general anesthetic, usually from the hip or pelvic bone. Technicians then isolate the stem cells from the bone marrow for storage or donation. Peripheral stem cells. A person receives a several injection that cause their bone marrow to release stem cells into blood. Next, blood is removed from the body. A machine separates out the stem cells and doctors return the blood to the body. Umbilical cord blood. Stem cells can be harvested from the umbilical cord after delivery with no harm to the baby. Some people donate the cord blood and others store it. This harvesting of stem cells can be expensive, but the advantages for future needs include: first, the stem cells are easily accessible. Second, less chance of transplanted tissue being injected if it comes from the recipient's own body. Adult cells can be reprogrammed to behave like undifferentiated human embryonic stem cells, producing induced pluripotent stem cells or iPS cells. Pluripotent cells are able to develop into any of the hundreds of cell types in the human body, such as muscles, nerves, cartilage, blood, or bone.
Support and movement. Cytoskeleton. It is composed of protein filaments, microtubules, microfilaments, and intermediate filaments. provide support and enables movement in eukaryotic cells. Microtubules and filaments, the cytoskeleton is that help cells maintain their shape and internal organization. And it also provides mechanical support that enables cells to carry out essential functions like division and movement. There is no single cytoskeletal component. Its specific function encompasses stability, intracellular transport, and contraction. Furthermore, it regulates cellular shape and plays a role in division, migration, and communication. Lochilia and cilia. Specialized structures for movement, they are elongated and enable locomotion in liquid environments, whereas cilia are shorter and create coordinated flow on the cell surface, composed of microtubules in a 9 plus 2 pattern. They are essential for sperm motility, storage, and transportation. Vacuoles, membrane-bound organelles found in plant cells and some animal cells. They store nutrients, water, ions, and waste materials, regulating turgor pressure and osmotic balance. Vacuoles can also be involved in the digestion of substances and serve as a defense mechanism against predators by containing toxins. Vesicles and inducers. Membranous vesicles that transport specific materials between organelles and the cell membrane. Vesicles, they transport materials from the endoplasmic reticulum and the Golgi apparatus to other destinations. Inducers, they capture and distribute materials for degradation, recycling, or their incorporation into metabolic pathways.